Welcome back to Unscripted, TCU's signature sports talk show where we talk about sports on campus and around the world. I'm Ainsley Brangers here with Daniel McCree and Drew Muller. Guys, a lot happened this weekend. How are we feeling?
Feeling good. It was a good weekend. Got to watch a lot of football Saturday and Sunday. Good to have those NFL Sundays back.
This week had a lot of games, a whole lot of overreactions and overhype, but we'll see how that turns out.
Yeah. Before we get into all the fun stuff, let's talk about some stuff that happened on campus. TCU soccer, their opening games have been really a lot.
Yeah, they have.
So they just played Texas A&M the past few days.
They were undefeated.
Well, almost.
They were
almost undefeated. They lost to Northwestern, I think 2 days before. So they had to come back off of that win, but their really late defensive shots have really kept them in these games. And I think that's part of why they beat A&M, because it was 86-minute match winner. How are we feeling about TCU soccer?
I like TCU soccer. I mean, number 4 in the nation already, 5-1. And you got some things going. Your coach, he just has the most wins in TCU history. So there's a lot to like. But one thing that I do like is that they average 4 more shots on goal than their opponents, and 52%. They average 52% of their shots are on goal, and their opponents is 37% on goal. So I think the name of the game of soccer is get more shots up and score more goals. So if you keep putting shots on goal, I would hope that you score more goals. So that should lead to a lot of wins. So as long as they keep doing that, I like this TCU soccer team.
I totally agree. Like I said, TCU soccer is always consistently good, and they beat a really good team in Texas A&M right there. I think they're playing them again tonight, but TCU, they're definitely proven in this field. I see them having a really good season this year.
Yeah.
I agree. Our defenders, specifically Cameron Patton, have really held this defense together. They've been super consistent throughout every single game, and their late game composure has really kept them in every single game that they've played. Almost all of their goals have been within the last half. And I think that says a lot about this team, that whether or not they start off weak and not as strong as they really should be, because we have such a good offense and good midfield, that they will pull it together through the end.
Yeah. Also, another team on campus is the volleyball team. They've had some tough games. They beat number 5 Penn State, and they also beat UCLA twice. And so I think that their only loss has been to number 3 Pitt. They have a big game tonight against Texas A&M. I think they're number 8 in the nation, but I love that they're playing these top 25 teams early in their season for their first games. I think that hard out-of-conference schedule can only help you once you get in conference. I think that's in any sport. So I like that the volleyball team is doing it.
Yeah, 2 ranked teams. Those were really big wins. And you said they beat UCLA twice there?
Yeah.
They're definitely going to make a run this year, too.
Yeah,
what do you think about TCU volleyball?
I mean, beating national champion Penn State is huge for this program, especially after the season they had last year. They were good, but they definitely weren't up to par where they could be.
Exactly.
And this was Coach Williams' first ever win over a top 5 opponent. It's most wins in TCU history, highest ranked win in TCU history. So I think that there's a lot of potential for this team this year.
Dang, I did not know that. That's crazy.
Yeah. TCU Volleyball has been off to a fantastic start this year. We're going to send it over to Andrew Geyer for the Athlete of the Week.
TCU Women's Volleyball has made waves this September with 3 straight wins over ranked opponents. Most recently, the Horned Frogs hosted number 19 UCLA at Scholmeyer Arena September 6th. Junior transfer Lauren Murphy's career night helped push TCU to victory. Murphy led the team with a career-high 16 kills on a .500 hitting and added an ace from the service line. She was one of 3 Frogs to finish with double-digit kills. The home win marked head coach Jason Williams and the Frogs' 10th straight victory at the Scholmeyer, dating back to last season. TCU jumped out to an early 2-set lead. UCLA, however, kept things close. The Frogs took the first 2 sets 25-21 and 25-19. They never trailed in the second, thanks to 6 kills from Murphy. With their backs against the wall, the Bruins pulled out a narrow 3rd set win, 25-21. Determined to close it out, the Frogs halted UCLA's momentum and cruised to a 25-14 win. Over the season, Murphy has 35 kills on a .370 hitting with 4 aces. Murphy and the Frogs now turn their focus to number 23 Missouri, September 12th, before wrapping up non-conference play against Texas, September 17th. Back to y'all in the studio.
Thanks, Andrew. The MLB playoff race is heating up. What do y'all think?
A team that I like in the playoffs for the MLB is the Blue Jays. I think that we're in this era of baseball where it's all about hitting home runs and everybody's just chasing the long ball. But the Blue Jays, I think, just have really good hitters. They can just put the bat on the ball, get singles, doubles, put runners on base, get runners in scoring position, and score runs. Bo Bichette, Vladimir Guerrero Jr., George Springer, and Alejandro Kirk, those are all really good hitters. I think that if they can carry the momentum that they've had this whole regular season into the postseason, I think they kind of give me like a 2015 Kansas City Royals vibes, where it's like just you're just kind of stringing along good at bats and hits, and that's how you win. What do you think, Daniel?
No, yeah, that's a good take. Got to think about the home team here, the Rangers.
Yeah.
I don't know. Right now, they're going through a really hard time right now with all the injuries they're having. It's like Marcus Semien, Corey Seager, Adolis Garcia, all their top guys. Recently, Nathan Eovaldi, all those guys are getting injured. But I did see someone talk about earlier, and I have thought about their 2023 run. If all those guys can come back, or a good amount of them can come back, and Bruce Bochy puts together some of his magic with the bullpen, I think the Rangers can make a really good run this year. World Series win, I don't think so, but I think they could have a much better season, maybe, of course, last year than most people are looking at right now.
Yeah, I think it's going to be tough for the Rangers without Nathan Eovaldi.
Exactly, that's the main thing.
He was the ace. And
he was their ace.
Probably the Cy Young favorite right before he got hurt. And if he wasn't, he probably should have been. I think it's going to be tough. I don't know. Those guys, getting at bats in baseball is so important, and you go, 2-3 weeks without at bats when you're hurt, and I think that's just going to be hard. And you have a good thing rolling right now with some of your replacements, but those guys just won't have the at bats, and I don't know if you can just put them in postseason baseball and expect them to pick back off of the players and be the players that we know them to be.
Exactly. The Dodgers had a special run last year of some injuries, but the Rangers are definitely facing a lot more.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think exactly what you said about when you're not batting for that long, like obviously you're going to have to shake off the rust a little bit when you get back. And getting Nathan Eovaldi back will be really key for them, I think. And obviously their 2023 run, they had a bunch of injuries in the regular season. Like they can come back from it easy. And what you said about the Cy Young form, I think that about Jacob deGrom, I think that he's right there. I think he's exactly where they need him. He's had a great year. But I honestly think Corey Seager is exactly what this team needs right now. I think he's going to take them to the postseason. They have some remaining games against the Astros where they can close that gap, and they're chasing down Seattle and Boston in the division. And I think beating those teams are really, really important.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, totally. Another team that's really hot, doing really good this year, might even have like a historic season I was hearing about, is the Brewers. Yeah. Probably like their best season ever. I heard the team's only like 50-something years old. Have they ever like won a World Series, even been to one before?
I don't think they have, but I know the Rangers just kind of won a series.
No, Rangers just won a series. They did.
Yeah. So, and it was a big series for the Rangers. Put them one game back behind the wild card. So.
But the Brewers are a team to look for.
They are. They have been doing good stuff.
What about you, Ainsley? Any contenders you're looking at?
I mean, I think for the National League, I'm looking at the Phillies.
The Phillies?
The Phillies. They have a really good bullpen. They're led by superstars at the top of their lineup. Like, it doesn't get much better than what they have. Trey Turner, Bryce Harper, Kyle Schwarber. You can't ask for much better than that.
Exactly.
And Blue Jays for the American League, just like you said. They have two of the best hitters in baseball. I think that those two teams, that would make for a good World Series run.
Hopefully not the Phillies, though, after seeing the Eagles win the Super Bowl and all that. Kind of tired of Philly fans, but we'll see.
Yeah, that's okay. But anyway, I think it's time to get into the topic we've all been waiting to talk about, the NFL. A lot happened this week.
A lot.
Where do y'all even want to start with this?
We can start on Thursday night.
I was about to say the spitting, bro. We got to start there, bro.
Yeah, the spitting. I'm a Cowboys fan myself, so I don't know if I was more offended by Dak getting spat on or if it was, Jalen Carter being ejected for the game, because he is the key vocal point of that defense. But, maybe that spitting motivated Dak. I don't know. He had a great game, in my opinion. I mean, he had a few drops by CeeDee Lamb, which I don't expect to happen. But I loved what I saw from Dak. The offense looked better. Everything's tighter. You're using more motion. It just seems like the guys are free. They're playing good. And one other thing is, I think, Kenny Clark did his job. I mean, Saquon Barkley, he had a rushing touchdown. I think it was like around 10-yard carry. And Jalen Hurts
was going at it.
He had a lot of rushing yards. But, a lot of teams that you play don't have Jalen Hurts and Saquon Barkley in the backfield. It's hard to game plan. Saquon Barkley didn't have a spectacular game, and I think that is a lot of credit because of Kenny Clark. So I think that from the Cowboys' perspective, yes, you lost Micah Parsons, and I don't think Micah Parsons is nearly the player that Kenny Clark is. I don't think that. My bad.
I was about to say. You see the game he played against Detroit this weekend?
I don't think Kenny Clark is the player that Micah Parsons is. That's what I meant to say.
I'm sorry. That was about to be a hot take right there.
But one thing that I will say, here's what I'll say though: the difference between Kenny Clark and Mozzie Smith is a bigger difference between Micah Parsons and Dante Fowler or Sam Williams. And I think that may make the Cowboys a better defense, because they couldn't stop the run at all for these past 2 or 3 years. You had Kenny Clark in there. The run defense looks competent. So I think that you don't have the best player out of that deal, but your unit, I think, your 2 units, the D line as a whole, defensive tackles, edge rushers, I think may be a little better just because you don't have a glaring weakness that teams can attack. I don't know. What do you think?
No, I agree with that. But going off what you were saying, you said like how Dak Prescott was playing that day, and even how you were saying like Jalen Hurts might have been slowed down a little bit that day. You saying a bit that you think Dak Prescott was like better than Jalen Hurts?
Yeah, he was. Yeah,
You think he is better than Jalen Hurts?
Oh yeah, he's a better quarterback than Jalen Hurts. I'll say that.
That's a strong take
yeah,
too.
Yeah,
Really
I don't even
interesting
think that's strong at this point. I mean, we have to start respecting Dak.
Respecting Dak?
Yeah, think about it. That's a guy who's every year he started, the team's been over 500. Every year that he started, he's gone for almost 30 touchdowns. He had 32. Then he had the MVP season. He has an All-Pro.
Yeah.
I think that he may not be the best quarterback in the postseason, but is he the only one to blame for that? Or is it the defense who, when CJ Anderson got up off the couch and up for like 100 yards, or when, he didn't play his best game versus the Packers in that playoff loss, but also he allowed 40 points. He never had a chance to even get himself in that game. So I think that, we have to start respecting Dak Prescott. I'm a Dak Prescott guy. I think he's the 5th best quarterback in the NFL.
As an Eagles fan, that kind of hurt my
say it.
feelings
He's
a
the fifth
little
best
bit.
I think he's the fifth.
Yeah.
Didn't even know that.
Hurt my feelings a little bit, but that's okay. Go ahead.
No, you got it.
Okay. I think that the Cowboys are having a really hard time rushing the passer without Micah Parsons.
Exactly.
I think they're really struggling. They had 1 sack the entire game. And I don't think that's an area for crazy concern right now. But I think in the future, if it continues, it's definitely something to be aware of.
Well, another thing I'll say is the Eagles have 2 of the best tackles in football with Jordan Mailata and Lane Johnson. It's hard to get pressure. I do think that the edge is a weakness. It's something that you're going to, if you are contending, you would look to add via trade, maybe probably in the draft these next few years with the 4 picks. But I think it is hard to judge what we have at edge rusher based off this one game. I don't expect it to be better than Micah Parsons or what we had with Micah Parsons. But I have to give more time. Now you're going up against, probably went from going up against one of the best offensive units to the worst offensive units with the Giants this week. But I want to see what they do versus the Packers and Bears and going forward and to really evaluate this group.
Yeah, you can only see so much from one game.
Right.
Like you said, that was hard to gauge. This was like a top team, top rushers, top linemen.
Right.
Like you said, we got to wait to see out how the Cowboys are actually going to look against teams more similar to them, see how the season's actually going to unfold.
Yeah.
What about some other big games throughout the week, though? Like we mentioned, Lions, Packers, Bengals, Browns.
Yeah.
Bengals Browns was a big one, but I think it showed a lot of weakness in the Bengals O-line.
Yeah.
They did not look good. Their defense
they
has
did not.
improved in the offseason, but their O-line might have gotten worse. And that's really hard to do.
Yeah, so one thing about the Bengals is everybody talks about it often, and I think that's an every year thing. We put them in these Super Bowl conversations of they might be the team in the AFC because they beat Patrick Mahomes one time. I don't see it. I just don't, because I think that the defense, they didn't show me much because you're just letting the Browns run all these short plays over and over and over again. I think the Browns ran 69 plays and the Bengals ran 46. That's why Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase had a bad day for these fantasy owners, because they weren't able to run very many plays.
Exactly.
But I think we see it time and time again where it's if this offense just slips up the slightest in a game, they can lose. And the Browns are not supposed to be a good team. I think that they're probably one of the worst teams in the NFL. And you were in a close game simply because your offense couldn't get out there on the field. So there's just so much pressure on Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase to go out there and have these crazy stats, and you can't do that. I think that, if anything, defense may have looked better on paper and by the score, but I disagree. I think, if anything, the defense may have gotten worse just because Trey Hendrickson missed all of training camp. And CeeDee Lamb talked about it. He said, I missed training camp last year. It takes a toll on players, and I think that we see that. So I think, I don't know. I think that the Bengals I don't look at them as Super Bowl contenders. I think they're a fun team to watch.
You don't believe in Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase?
It's not that I don't believe in Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase. It's that
that's my boy, Joe Burrow.
Yeah, but if they have one bad game, they get off to a slow start. They're already behind the 8 ball. I mean, you looked at last year. They stalled out towards the end of the game versus the Commanders last year, and they lost. And it's not because Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase don't do good is because you can't get a stop. You have
Yeah.
one turnover against the Ravens, you lose that game because you just turned the ball over at the wrong time. So I think it's kind of the same old tale with them, where it's just going to be slow starting, and it's just going to be, if you start slow, you're going to lose.
No, honestly, I feel for Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase, all those guys. He's such a good player, and he's able to do so much. But the problem with that Bengals organization, that owner, is he just doesn't help him out. Like you guys were saying, defense really isn't better. Somehow the offensive line got worse. The Bengals are just a horrible organization. Like, I wouldn't want to say, but honestly, if Joe Burrow wants to have success and wants to go do something, he probably has to get traded to another team. Same for Jamar Chase and Trey Hendrickson and all of them. If they actually want to go do something, it's probably not going to get done in Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Yeah, the only reason the Bengals won that game is because they got bailed out.
Yeah.
The Browns missed an extra point, missed a
Exactly.
field goal. Passing game was not where it needed to be. I don't think the Bengals are a team this year to be intimidated by
Definitely not.
anyone.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
But another really big game was that Steelers-Jets game, with 41-year-old Aaron Rodgers throwing 4 touchdowns while his Super Bowl team was having a reunion.
Yeah.
So what do you all think about that game?
Got a lot to say about that one. You have anything about that, Drew?
I think so. It was a good game. And,
It was a
and
great
I was
game.
I was honestly shocked by both teams that they were able to keep that high scoring pace. I didn't expect either team to really be able to do that, but I think that both these teams have to show me again. Justin Fields, we've seen the highs, we've also seen the lows. So based off of that, low could be coming. But I think that he does. I think that he does have a high ceiling. I mean, I'll say that. You have the Tanner Estrogen, the Lions' old passing game coordinator, I think. And so we've seen what he did with Jared Goff.
Exactly.
I think that if he can do that with Justin Fields, I think that he has a high ceiling. I think this team can be really good. I love what Garrett Wilson brings at receiver. I also think that Breece Hall is a pretty good running back.
Yeah.
What about you, Dany?
Definitely. Before I go, what do you think about the Aaron Rodgers and the MVP hype he has going on after that game?
It's going to come down.
I was like, do people really believe
It'll
in this
take
stuff
about
right
a week or
now?
two
They'll
before that's on the floor.
9-8. It's 9-8.
9-8. That's just all you got to say for the Steelers.
9-8.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I definitely got to agree with you with Justin Fields, because he went up against an actually good defense there, and for the first time, he was really forced to have to pass the ball. He had some really good rushing plays, like that final rushing touchdown, but really with guys like T.J. Watt on the field, he couldn't just take the ball and sweep or run to the side every single time. He actually had to throw the ball, and he showed us that he can actually throw against a really good defense. So I love seeing that from Justin Fields, and he had guys like Garrett Wilson in the game. To be honest, Aaron Rodgers had that game with 4 touchdowns and stuff, but it really wasn't even his win. Jalen Ramsey won the game as he hit Garrett Wilson, knocked him out of that beef there at the end of the game. It really was a Steelers defense. The offense helped out a lot, but I really got to give the win to the Steelers defense there. That was really good put together. Justin Fields had a great game. He put the ball on the money just about every single time. Yeah. So I love seeing that. And like you said, guys like Breece Hall and Garrett Wilson, and that new coach they had that helped out Jared Goff, I think they actually got a chance to maybe do something this year, mainly if Justin Fields keeps on getting better. But Aaron Rodgers, he's a good guy, or maybe a good player at times, but I think the MVP stuff, I think that's overreaction. Those 4 touchdowns in his game it wasn't all that, I'd say.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. You don't win MVPs in week 1. So,
Exactly.
So I think both these teams, they have to show me.
Yeah, I agree. I think that Aaron Rodgers playing in a new setting was probably pretty motivating.
Exactly.
It's week 1. You can only tell so much from week 1. I think that the Steelers defense showed a lot of vulnerability. I think there's a lot of room for improvement there, but you really have to see where the season goes.
Exactly.
You can't say much.
Yeah, I agree. Now, we talked about the Lions the Jets offensive coordinator coming from the Lions. I think that the Lions are a team where they have me concerned.
What happened in week 1, man? What happened?
So I think that we see, everybody's kind of talked about Ben Johnson's gone, Aaron Glenn is gone, and I think that's part of it. But another thing is that they lost 2 Pro Bowls on the offensive line, Jonah Jackson and Frank Ragnow, and you saw the impact. The Lions had a dominant rushing game all of last season. It was really what led them to have all these bloods that we saw. They blew out the Cowboys. The Titans. Blew out everybody they played. It seemed like that's not there anymore. It doesn't look like, and I'm gonna give them a pass. It's only week 1. Teams are still gelling together, but if it doesn't come together, I think that the lack of run game is also gonna, it's gonna make Jared Goff worse. I don't look at Jared Goff as a quarterback who's able to extend the plays and make things happen when the pocket breaks down. If the pocket breaks down more, I think that he kind of starts to see ghosts. And I'm being honest, I really do. So I think that if they can't keep Jared Goff upright, I think that they're in a world of trouble. And I get the Packers do have a really good defense, especially when you add in Micah, but I just don't really know if this Lions team is able to rebound from all of the pieces that they lost this offseason.
Exactly. Micah Parsons had a havoc on that game.
Yeah.
How many sacks did he have on Jared Goff in that
I think
game?
he only had one sack. He got
But
some
he was
pressures.
getting him. He's getting
Yeah.
so much pressure throughout the
Yeah.
game. He was having a field day out there, and didn't Jerry Jones after the Eagles-Cowboys game say they were like a defensive piece or something away from a winner?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
Micah Parsons showed that he was at peace on Sunday.
maybe.
Yeah, I think only having one sack in your debut when you're a player like Micah Parsons on a team like the Packers says a lot about him as a player. Not that there's anything wrong with that. I don't want to overreact and say that he's not going to be the player that everybody thought he was going to be this year, but I also wouldn't be shocked if that was the case. I think that the Lions really struggled without Ben Johnson.
Yeah.
I think they don't really know what they're doing. I mean, he's the best offensive coordinator,
Yeah.
arguably in the league. And so I think
Yeah.
losing somebody like that kind of puts you out of panic,
Yeah.
not knowing exactly where to go with your offense. Having Jared Goff, like you said, I think that he kind of cracks under pressure when that pocket
Mhm.
breaks, and that's not good for a run game.
Yeah.
And so I think that's really where they're going to struggle this year.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think that they're going to be. I can't say that they're going to be bad. I think that they probably go 11-6 or somewhere around 11-6, 12-5, 10-7. But I don't think that they are. The you have to go. I don't think that's. You have to go through them in the
Yeah, the
NFC
contender,
anymore.
they're not that good.
I think last year, even though the Commanders beat them, I think that if we were all sitting at this desk in November of last year, we all said, hey, you have to go through the Lions.
Yeah.
And I just don't think that that's there anymore. Honestly, it wouldn't shock me if they come in third in this division. I really think. I
would
like
agree.
what's going on in Green Bay and in Minnesota. What J.J. McCarthy did,
Yeah.
bouncing back after throwing.
Was it
pick
Chicago,
six,
though? I
three.
mean, we do got to say that.
Still, one thing that I'll say about J.J. McCarthy is that I don't know how many rookies are going to bounce back after throwing a pick six and lead
That's
their
true.
team to 3 straight touchdown drives.
Does
I mean,
help
that
you going
was-
against a team that's
that was
choking, though.
impressive. I like what I saw from J.J.
Yeah.
Really do.
I mean, captain as a rookie quarterback is a hard feat
Yeah.
to manage,
Yeah.
and I think he proved himself.
Yeah, he
I
did.
think it's so hard to come into a game like that at a place like the Vikings. Like, the Vikings have a pretty big reputation to uphold, whether or not they've had a good season the past few years, with losing Kirk Cousins and everything. But I think that JJ's a good replacement. I
Yeah.
really do.
Also, think about the Vikings that they got Will Fries and Ryan Kelly in the offseason.
Yeah.
And when you looked at that playoff loss versus the Rams, the reason why they lost is because they couldn't protect Sam Darnold.
Yeah.
So you also signed Jordan Mason, who was able to step in and fill the void when Christian McCaffrey went down for the 49ers. I think that I don't even know if he has to be as good as Sam Darnold to repeat the success because there's just less pressure. I think they're going to be able to run the ball better. They'll protect them better. So I think that J.J. McCarthy has to come in and just, if he gives them maybe 25 touchdowns and 8 interceptions amongst the season, this is going to be a team that will probably go 13-4 or 14-3 with Brian Flores calling the defense and what he does. I mean, besides that one drive the Bears had in the first drive, and once they got past the scripted plays, it didn't look good
No,
for
it did
Caleb
not.
Williams.
It did not.
No,
It did
And
not.
so I don't know. I think that Brian Flores is an elite defensive coordinator.
Definitely.
And I think that as long as the offense just gives them, solid production and probably just a little above average to good, I think that team will be 13-4, 14-3. I really believe that.
You're thinking Rookie of the Year, J.J. McCarthy?
Can he win it? Because
Oh, yeah, you're right. He's not
I
a
don't know if
rookie. He
can
was
win,
hurt last year.
But I think
Comeback
that
Player of the Year?
maybe.
I would say
I
comeback.
think
Comeback Player of the Year?
Dak's comeback player of the year. I mean, we know
All
that.
right.
Hey, Dak.
No need to go that
Hey,
far.
we know that.
No need to go that far. A game that really got me a little bit was the Raiders-Patriots.
Yeah.
I'm not sure why, but the Raiders have not been good in a long time. And so I think nobody expected them to beat the Pats like that. Ashton Genty got his first NFL touchdown. Not a whole lot to talk about with that game, but I think that it shows that the Raiders have way more potential this year than they did the year before. What do you all think?
I think the Rays are just going to be a tough team to beat. I don't know if they're going to win. I can't see them winning that division. It's a hard division with the Chiefs, Broncos,
hard
Chargers.
division.
But I think that they're going to be a team that will probably go 9, a little bit around 500, maybe a little more, a little less. But I think that they're going to be a team that you can't take them for granted. I think they're always going to be in games. They're going to make a lot of games closer than what they should be. Geno Smith isn't the best quarterback, but he's capable.
Mhm.
Ashton Genty, I expect him to be really good. But I think that they're going to be just a solid football team.
That's exactly what I was going to say. You got Geno Smith. You know what you're going to get is at least average.
Yeah.
Are you going to get more? You don't know. 50-50 shot, but you know you're going to get at least average when you got Geno Smith.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. I think it's not like you're looking at a team like the Saints where they don't even know who
Right.
the quarterback is
Right.
next week.
Right.
So I think that, like you said, the Raiders are not a team to overlook, but I also don't think they're a team to be completely intimidated by.
Exactly. Hard division, like you said. Chiefs, Broncos, and Chargers.
Yeah.
6 games.
Yeah.
Couldn't imagine
Yeah.
having to do that.
Yeah. The Chiefs are maybe not as good as we thought they
Maybe
were going
not
to be
Kansas.
this year. I mean, they didn't play bad. They
No,
didn't
they
play
didn't.
bad at all, but the Chargers really wanted it. You
They
could
did.
tell they wanted it from the second they went out on that field. They're determined to end the Chiefs' legacy week 1. What do y'all think?
I believe in the Chiefs. Even though they lost and a lot of people, kind of are down on them, it wouldn't shock me if they win a Super Bowl. And I say it because you have
Right.
Patrick Mahomes still back there, Andy Reid, you have Steve Spagnuolo. Chris Jones, he didn't keep his contain on the last play of the game, but how many times is he not going to do that? If you run that simulation 100 times, he probably does it 99 times. He just keeps contained.
Exactly.
Xavier Worthy going down on the first play, I think, really hurt them. You heard in the broadcast they said, we had stuff scripted up for Xavier Worthy. So then you kind of have to go see, who's going to do this, because Travis Kelce isn't the guy that we once knew him to be. I think as long as they can steady the ship through this Xavier Worthy injury, we don't know how long he's going to be out yet, but I would assume around 3-4 weeks. So if they can steady the ship while Xavier Worthy's hurt and during this Rashee Rice suspension, kind of just get, maybe 3-4 wins, I think that this team will be fine. They're trying things. They're trying to get the ball down the field more. It's just hard to do that when you don't have your guy who runs a 4-2 and is your best receiver.
Yeah, the Chiefs, they'll come back. Are they going to win the Super Bowl, be that much of a contender? I don't know about that one. We got teams emerging like the Bills. Even the Ravens, they lost in that game. We'll talk about that at some point. That was a big competitive game, much more competitive compared to that Chargers-Chiefs game. Justin Herbert and the Chargers, they got something going. The coach believes in Justin Herbert a lot, as I think I saw some earlier about Ryan Clark saying something about Herbert, which made the coach, what's his name, Harbaugh?
Yeah.
One of the Harbaughs.
Yeah.
Really went to defend Justin Herbert there. He was really not happy about that. I think he has a lot of belief in this Chargers team. So they're going to be a lot to get through. And we haven't even mentioned Denver. The Broncos of Bo Nix and Sean Payton and what they got going on over there. That's going to be a really good team this year. The AFC, it's just not going to be very easy to get through this season.
No, it's not. But we see it time and time again, and this is the first time that I haven't seen it with the Chiefs, where it's like every close game, it's almost like bucket Chiefs win.
Exactly.
They're just better in close game situations, and it's like the Patriots, where the Patriots didn't have the best roster. They didn't always look the best, but when it was time for them to go down there and get a scoring drive, they did it. They were never going to beat themselves. This was the first time that I saw it, and I was like, wow, the Chiefs, the Chargers played a great game. I don't want to discredit the Chargers, but this was the first time where I can say the Chiefs actually did something that hurt them in a close game. And it just doesn't happen often. I like what I saw from the Chargers. Justin Herbert played a great game. And Keenan Allen,
Keenan Allen
hey,
off.
Yeah.
I didn't expect Keenan Allen to come on.
I don't think anyone did.
That's his home.
And get a touchdown, have around 70 yards. Thought it was going to be the Ladd McConkey show, but Keenan Allen, didn't even sign before training camp, and he's
He has something to prove.
Yeah, on the
does.
older side of things, he came in and did something, so that surprised me. But I think that the AFC West is a tough division, but I still do believe in the Chiefs. I really do.
Yeah, I think what you're talking about with Bo Nix, Broncos are going to be a great team, but I was not impressed. I was not impressed at all against Titans. I wasn't impressed by Cam Ward either. I really wasn't.
I like what I saw from Cam Ward. His pass catchers have to throw him a bone. You have Calvin Ridley. It's year 8. It's around. You've been in the league for a little bit. You gotta catch a pass coming down late fourth quarter. I mean, it was back-to-back passes dropped, and I don't know. The Broncos' defense is lights out.
Yeah.
I mean, they threw Cam Ward to the Wolves on game 1.
Yeah, they were capitalizing. on that.
They were.
That's a hard first game.
And so that's a really tough first game. So I don't think that Cam Ward played his best football, but I think that he can string some things together with Bo Nix. He didn't look his best, but I really think that it's another team kind of like the Vikings, where the pressure isn't really on the offense. If the offense scores 23 points, they'll probably win, because that secondary, I know Greenlaw I think got hurt, but between Greenlaw, PS2, and Jahdae Barron, that that defense
They're
is,
locked down.
yeah,
Secondary's locked
lights out
down.
defense.
Yeah, I think that the inexperience on the Titans really screwed them over that game. And the Broncos capitalized on it. That's exactly what their defense did. And I think that they're probably going to do that with every rookie quarterback that they go in seeing.
Yeah.
There's not much you can do about it.
Yeah.
Like, when you start as a rookie quarterback, how far are you going to go before you make a mistake like that?
Exactly.
I mean, like, J.J. McCarthy started off not great.
Yeah,
I mean, we all watched it, but he came back from it. There's no reason Cam Ward can't do that, too.
Yeah.
But I think we have to get into the game everybody's been waiting to talk about. Ravens-Bills. A lot happened. Two great quarterbacks. I mean, MVP last year. Do we think another run is in the cards for Josh Allen?
Not Josh Allen.
You don't
No.
think so?
You think Josh Allen?
Why don't you think Josh Allen? I'm just curious.
For one, they kind of like trade like year after year, like who's going to be the top guy between Lamar, Josh Allen, and Patrick. But also, if I'm going to be so real, that win, not to say that the Bills didn't do it, but it wasn't all like just Bills power through all them. That Baltimore defense, I haven't seen them play like that in like a while, where I've seen the defense actually be like, what's going on with that Ravens defense?
Yeah.
They are not playing dominant and as good as they normally are. Like, they'll probably get better, but I did not see it on Sunday night at all.
Yeah. No, that was one of the best games I've watched in a long time. Great game. I love what I saw from Lamar. Love what I saw from Derrick Henry, even though he fumbled at the end. I really like what I saw. But we saw why the Ravens can't beat the Chiefs. And I think that when you are the Ravens, they blow these double score leads in the regular season, and they've done it often. And most of the times it doesn't, really cause them any trouble. They still end up getting, at least 12 wins, still win the division, make the playoffs. But I think that you can't keep comparing the Ravens to just the expectation can't just be, making the playoffs. At some point, the expectation is winning Super Bowls.
Exactly.
And what they put on, Lamar had a Super Bowl performance. I think Derrick Henry had a Super Bowl performance, but the team, being the players and coaches, just didn't, and that's what's been costing them. You're on second down of that drive, and I'm not gonna criticize the play call, but you don't even have Derrick Henry on the field. He's averaging 9.4 yards per carry, and you don't even think, hey, it's 2nd and 8. Let's put this guy on the field. And maybe the ball doesn't go to him, but if I'm a linebacker on the Bills, I see Derrick Henry out on the field, I'm thinking, all right, I have to come down and get in the A or B gap to make a tackle, right? Versus if I see Justice Hill back there, my eyes are instantly going to, okay, what's going on? I think they may pass. I think Zay Flowers, okay, I see him going in motion. It may be going to him. And I don't know. I just can't get behind that play call. And I think it's little things like this that we see time and time again with the Ravens. It's in September now, but then when we get in January and February, it's the same thing that comes up. And that's why they can't beat the Chiefs, because, again, you're going up a team, you shoot yourself in the foot, and you're going to face a team that never does it. And at some point, it just catches up to you. And so I think that what the Bills did, it was a great comeback. If I was the Ravens, I would have gone for it on 4th down. Right as I saw Josh Allen step on the field, game's over.
Exactly.
I think that everybody kind of had that feeling. But yeah, there's a lot of things to clean up. The back end of the Ravens defense, Jair Alexander looked horrible. You kind of got torn up on that last drive. So I think that there's a lot of things that the Ravens can correct. I'm not out on them as a team, but
Definitely.
I just don't see the same. Like they do the same thing every year, it seems like. So I'm wondering, like, it's not a talent issue. It's a we can't finish games issue, or we just have one critical mistake. But we always say it's just one critical mistake. So I'm just curious, like, when are they going to clean it up? That's what I want to know.
Yeah. When do the mistakes stop being critical?
Yeah, it seems like they did not have a lot of wide receiver help. Like you said, majority of the game was Lamar and Derrick Henry, like over and over again all night long.
And I mean, that's the bread and butter. I mean, I can't fault you for going to Derrick Henry 18 times. Zay Flowers had a good game. D-Hop one-handed catch. I mean, it seemed like it was a resurgence week for some receivers who are older. But yeah, I don't know. I just think that they have. It's not that you're down on yourself after this week 1, but I think that if you are Coach Harbaugh, you have to look at it and start, looking at yourself a little bit, looking at the players and cleaning up these big mistakes that happen at the end of games, because I think it's cost you a Super Bowl. And if it hasn't, I think it will.
Yeah. I agree. I think that the Ravens' biggest weakness right now is putting their entire team in Lamar and Derek.
Yeah.
And that's going to destroy them all season if they continue doing that and don't look at their other options, their other targets for those runs, for the touchdowns. Like, Lamar's passing game is unbeaten by basically anybody in the NFL. But he's getting older.
Yeah.
He can't stay in that position for that much longer. I don't know if he'll be an Aaron Rodgers and be playing that at 41 years old. But they need to utilize him for the time they have him and keep the passing game strong. And if you're only passing to one player the entire game, you're not going to get anywhere. Teams can predict that, and I think that's where they went wrong with the Bills, because the Bills started being able to predict exactly where they were going to Derrick Henry, because they ran the same play about 1 million times.
Exactly.
So we're going to send it over to the social shot to talk more about the Ravens-Bills game.
Dawson knocks in motion. Allen unloading, throwing. That's Palmer! Out of bounds at the 35. They're in field goal range. Remarkable.
Just absolutely zipped that throw in there. That was from the first quarter when he came out with that almost angry look. There's only a handful of quarterbacks in this league that could have made.
Baltimore brings some pressure, and Allen throws. It's caught on the run. Coleman tripped up at the 9-yard line. Timeout, Ravens. Exactly.
Because if he had scored on that play, it would have given Baltimore and Lamar.
From 32 yards, Prater made it, and the Bills open their final season in this stadium with a stunning comeback win.
All right, Andrew and Alex had some good picks. Barrett, good luck next time.
Yeah.
Now on to college football. Florida, South Florida. Huge game at the Swamp. Nobody really thought that ending was predictable.
South Florida pulled it off.
Yeah, I think DJ Lagway was struggling a little bit. What do y'all think?
Definitely he was. USF, South Florida's been surprising us. They've literally been on upset watch. They beat Boise State last week. What was it, like 38-7 or something?
Yeah.
And this week they pulled off that crazy 18-16 game here. They could really be a competitor, maybe a possible Cinderella team this year. I know a lot of that had to do with that spitting incident or whatever. Coach had to chew him out for there because that really turned around the game. Might have cost Florida the game, but USF's playing, is it Miami next week, Carson Beck? You guys think this team's actually has a chance to beat that team and maybe to make a run this year? Get ranked?
We're going to see. I mean, ranked right now in the AP poll, I think
Don't
that
get started
you
on
can,
that
yeah,
one.
you can kind of speak for all college football fans
Let's not talk about
where the
it.
polls don't really matter until you get the committee. But I don't know. I mean, I think it's going to be a good test. I like what I saw from Miami. I think that Miami is a good team. So do I expect them to win? No. I just need to see them, kind of look like they belong a little bit. I was shocked that they beat Florida. I mean, I was kind of.
I don't think you were the only one.
I think
everybody was shocked.
I mean, yeah, everybody was shocked. I think I was higher on Florida than most. I think I honestly looked at them to be an SEC contender because I liked what they saw. I liked what I saw last year from them, and especially from DJ Lagway. They ended off last year hot. They crushed Ole Miss's playoff dreams. I mean, that's one thing that I don't think people looked at as much, and it was all because they got Lagway, and he really brought some momentum. I mean, Billy Napier was a dead man walking, and he saved his job. So I thought that they were going to carry momentum over. I thought the ranking that they had was earned, but I guess not. So we'll see how they rebound from the upset. But one upset, that was the Arizona State upset. It packs, Big 12 team. It was
Mississippi State.
Yeah, and one thing that I thought was interesting is when Arizona State lost to Texas in the playoffs, it was 4th and 12. They sent a blitz. The blitz didn't get home.
Exactly.
Last drive of the game versus Mississippi State, they send the same blitz. Linebacker slips, doesn't get home, get beat over the top for another touchdown. I mean, they live and die by the blitz, but they've died by it. I mean that's what I said.
No, Cam Scatterbo missing a lot of guys.
I mean, maybe they miss him more, but I was shocked that they lost that one. I mean, Mississippi State is regarded as one of the worst teams in the SEC. So this
It's
is
not the worst.
Yeah, they're not good.
this is going to be a bad argument for the Big 12 and I think even the ACC, when they look at it and they're saying, hey, who gets in? Because
Exactly.
Arizona State's supposed to be one of the best teams, and I think that if Arizona State is supposed to get in, or I think it just does because the worst team in the SEC probably beat one of the better teams in the Big 12
It's gonna look bad.
if things go as we project them to. So I think that's just going to be a tough thing for those conferences to overcome.
Yeah, I think Sam Levitt really, really struggled. I mean, throwing 10 interceptions, only having 80 yards,
Yeah.
does not make for the best game. But I think that Arizona State is not going to be as dominant as people thought they were going to be. I don't think it's any room for real concern right now. Obviously, they haven't had a whole lot of time to show what they worked on in the offseason. But I do think Mississippi State improved a lot from last season. I think they now are maybe the second worst in the SEC, and maybe not at the very bottom.
The second worst.
The second worst. There's another team that might have them beat. But I don't think it's a whole lot of room for concern. I think Sam Levitt is arguably the best quarterback in the Big 12.
Yeah.
You know, not to hate on Josh Hoover.
Yeah.
We all love him here, but I think that Sam Levitt does have a lot of potential, and I think there's a lot of room for improvement within Arizona State and within Sam Levitt.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's definitely probably one of the better ones. But mentioning, like you said, Mississippi State in the SEC, and I think somebody mentioned someone beating Ole Miss earlier. Reminded me of another big game that happened. Got to mention a big Kentucky fan over here. Kentucky could not get the magic done again this year like they did last year.
Yeah.
They fell to Ole Miss.
Because I was at the game last year, guys.
Oh,
That's
man,
why we won.
you were there. You were the ace
That's why we
card.
won. It was a back and forth game, okay? It wasn't a blowout.
It was
We
a
don't have to
loss.
pretend
It
it
was a
was. Austin Simmons recovered.
Recovered.
He came out really not great at all.
Yeah, he
And I
did
think
not.
everybody saw that. Everybody, you know, in Oxford was a little panicked at the beginning of that game. But there's only so much you can do when you don't really have a set quarterback at Kentucky and you have an awful head coach.
Yeah.
So I
Hot
think
seat.
I think that Cutter will honestly start next week. I don't think they keep Calzada at the starting QB position. Maybe he'll go back. I think Cutter might be there for a week or two. They might put Zach back in there. But right now, I think Zach's too old. I think he's done with college football. I think he needs to be done. And I think Ole Miss is room for concern. I think that is a real concern. Because if you can't even compete against Kentucky, well, barely compete against Kentucky, like, you went off a field goal, like,
Not a contender.
how are you going to compete against other teams in the SEC, in Georgia,
Right.
Bama, Tennessee? There's only so much you can do when you can't even beat Kentucky, really. Like, there wasn't much there.
Yeah, exactly. No, I had this problem with Ole Miss for a few years now. Lane Kiffin, I think, has done a good job with the program. But one thing that I will say is that every time, SEC, I think they're going to 9 conference games next year, but you only have to play 8 conference games. So you can schedule out of conference games. And I think Lane Kiffin always schedules like a lot of FCS teams and a lot of weak teams, and it doesn't give his team I think any time to really ramp up. And no disrespect, but Kentucky's not like an elite team. So you go to
We're a
Kentucky
basketball
team.
sorry.
school.
Yeah,
Okay?
you are. I mean, yeah.
Basketball.
So you go into Kentucky and you struggle, but I think that I'm not saying that hey, go play Clemson or go play Ohio State, but I would like to see go play a P4 school before you get into SEC play, just to kind of give your guys time to ramp up. I mean, it's Austin Simmons. He stepped in against Georgia. It looked good, but this is really like his first start that he's had, and I think it's just kind of tough to throw him in to Kentucky on the road versus the FCS school that you were playing last week, where you're at home, have Hottie Toddy, all those people out
Listen,
there.
I love you, Kate, but it's not that hard to play in.
Yeah, it's just not that hard to
It's
play.
not
So I
hard
think
to
that
play.
just get your guys kind of ramped up and acclimated to what SEC ball could look like. That's all I think with the Ole Miss.
Ole Miss, they have the hype every single year, or they want the hype every single year. Like, guys, we're underrated. They need to look at us, but it's about time they finally live up to that.
Yeah.
That's all we can really say. It's about time they finally live up to the hype. But a big game this last week that has huge implications for TCU in the Big 12. That SMU Baylor game, no way we could get
That's
through
crazy.
without talking about that one. Sawyer Robertson, the Baylor comeback was insane. SMU helped him out a lot with some crucial missed field goal kicks and just some falling apart at the end. It was the exact opposite of the way they played TCU last year. And TCU's hopefully going to be hoping they play again like that when they play them on the 20th. But that game was insane. It started out similar to that game with SMU scoring early. I think it was like on the first play or so. But Baylor responded. Sawyer Robertson was connecting with receivers no matter through the Baylor mistakes. And Baylor came in crucial moments. It was like a double overtime. Ended up winning that game 48-45.
Yeah.
Big game right there. SMU was ranked. They dropped out of the rankings because of that. Baylor's a dangerous team, and TCU has to play both of these teams coming up. So that game has huge implications. You guys think TCU could come up and beat SMU and maybe even Baylor too and get ranked off of that?
I think they can beat both of the teams. I think that the defenses didn't show anything that would tell me, hey, you're going to stop Josh Hoover and Jordan Dwyer and Eric McAllister. So I think that you have that going for you. But I think, again, like TCU's another team where I need to see them against SMU. I do to see. And I don't think that the SMU game, I said it on the first episode, I don't think the SMU game is the end-all, be-all for this team. If you lose against SMU, you still have a long season ahead. It's not a conference game. Like,
no conference.
You want to win the Iron Skillets, the last one for the foreseeable future. But, look at ASU, Iowa State, Kansas State, and Baylor. As those are the big games for TCU. I think the Big 12 is really tight. I don't think they have one team that just necessarily separates themselves from the pack. So I can't say that we'll beat Baylor, but we for sure are capable.
Yeah, I agree. I think we beat SMU. I think we beat Baylor. I think Iowa State is where we're going to struggle
That's
a
a
little bit.
big game.
Yeah. I really do think I would love for TCU to go undefeated, but if we're losing a game, it's probably Iowa State.
Yeah.
That is going to be such a hard team to beat. And SMU and Baylor, I think every single one of the teams, including TCU, is so offense heavy. I don't think any of the teams have fantastic defense. I think TCU has the best defense of the three teams. But like I said, I think that in every single team, offense is where they really strive and defense is where they lack. So honestly, it could go either way with any game.
Yeah, Big 12's not known for defense, as I say.
They're
Just straight shootouts majority of the time.
Yeah.
But TCU's got Kavarian Barnes and some really good guys that could help out in those areas we struggled last year. And like you said, that defense at TCU, they're really the difference this year. Last year they were making sure they were able to line up right or so, but this year they're putting up 48-14 against UNC. Might not be the biggest game right there, but I think that defense can actually have some really good showings. And like you said, Iowa State's probably the scariest game, though that's probably the must-win of the season. That's probably the biggest game. If TCU wants to go to the playoffs, that's probably the game circled on their calendar that they've got to win.
Yeah,
I agree. I think that a lot of college football fans have been having a lot of overreactions to a lot of stuff, but I also think there are some real concerns that you can bring in there. What are your all's thoughts on that?
Overreaction I have is Arch Manning.
Arch?
I mean, he looked bad versus Ohio State. I mean, I'll cut it straight. I don't think that and I want to say all this. I want to add the narrative the story's not over. It's not finished. He can come back up here and go play against Florida, against Georgia, and really just change my mind. But his mechanics just look bad. I mean, it's just some of the things that he does on the football field. It doesn't look that good to me. And there's multiple times where I see him just make a really, really bad throw. I mean, he threw a ball in the dirt on an open dig route. He had a bad interception again this week, and I get he threw 4 touchdowns, but I still think that Texas goes as far as he goes. I don't think that they'll be bad even if he keeps up this level of play because the defense is so good and you have a good run game. But if they want to make a national or win a national championship, Arch has to play better.
It's like you're not liking Arch?
Not right now. I'm not liking what I'm seeing right now. I think that they will compete in the SEC, but he does have to get better if they want to reach the pinnacles that they plan to reach. So.
Arch, he's good. Like you said, right now, that's a little bit shabby and stuff. But like we were saying before with the NFL games, it's early on. He's definitely got a whole lot of time to go and prove himself. I think he's going to pick it up. He's got the blood. He's got the family. Definitely all the Mannings there to coach him up. Like, what better coaches and mentors you have than that? Arch Manning, he's got the athletics too. We saw that last year against those lowers teams. Whenever he's really just able to go and scramble and do what he's able to do, then he's able to make some great plays. I think they need to let him do that. Stop putting him so much in a box for certain plays and certain schemes. I think they need to let him do what he can, but at the same time, we need a season to see what he does best against actual teams, not just low, bottom of the barrel teams.
I agree. I think I have some real concerns about some teams. Florida and Clemson are the two that are really worrying me right now. Florida's offense struggled really bad against USF. I can speak English. Against USF. And I think their next 3 games are all against top 10 teams. And you can't have an offense like that against USF and just immediately bounce back playing a top 10 team. I mean, I guess it's possible, but it's almost unheard of. You're going to have that almost warm-up quarter to get back from it, or have those warm-up days in between, which, I mean, who knows what's going on in Florida's practice right now.
Probably sprinting after losing to USF.
Probably just sprinting, probably not a whole lot of passing and rushing going on. And then Clemson, they only scored 3 points in the first half against Troy.
It's not. Not Clemson.
Cade, has so much more potential
He
than
does.
that.
Exactly.
I really, and I mean, Sweeney takes so much pride on not using the transfer portal, on getting guys right out of high school, and I think that he has to capitalize on that or just start using the transfer portal because his team right now is not where he expects them.
They're not up to the hype.
Yeah, one thing I'll say with Florida is they do have a tough schedule, and I really think it's a gift and a curse. I mean, you could look at it and say, hey, we lost South Florida, season's done, or you could say, hey, we play LSU, Texas A&M, Texas. This is a chance for us to show that we're actually a better team than what people think we are. And yeah, we lost to USF, but Notre Dame lost to NIU last year. I mean, so
Goes all the
I mean,
way.
so yeah, the season's just not done. I mean, so I think that I agree with you. There is a lot to be concerned, but I think that now we kind of see, okay, how much does this Florida team believe in itself? You were ranked 13 or it was 13, I think, maybe 15, but you were ranked high. Do you yourself believe that you deserve that ranking? Because maybe you don't, but if you do and you think that you're actually talented enough, go out there, okay, beat LSU, beat Texas, and then you have A&M, so and you have Miami, which will also be a tough game. But I think that they can still prove us wrong.
Yeah, it's a reaction thing, how they respond.
I think they just have to respond really strong.
Hey, and USF, they could be a dangerous team this year, man.
Yeah, maybe.
That could have been a real loss right there.
Yeah, it could be.
I think that they could be in the group of 5 to
USF?
get to the playoffs. I really
Kind of like Boise last year.
Yeah,
I could
really
see it
do.
happening.
Okay.
Like an early on pick, but I really do think
Maybe.
that they could be. And before we close out everything with college football, the Big 12 has had some shifting, I feel like. I feel like Utah might be a big threat.
Yeah.
Utah?
I don't know.
I mean, I think that they're well coached. I mean,
They are well coached.
Any team that's well coached, I think, has a chance. So, I mean, they had a down year last year, but they have been a good program for some time now. So
Their quarterback did get hurt last year.
I do believe in,
Yeah.
No, definitely.
Yeah, they have their coach has a history of being very successful everywhere he goes.
Yeah.
I don't know, I think it's not a team to completely
Right,
overlook.
100%.
Is there anyone in the Big 12 that you think people might be overlooking?
I'm still just on I like TCU, Iowa State, Tech. I want to see what they do versus
Texas
Utah.
Tech, they are definitely a team to look out for.
Yeah, I want to see what they do.
They went
versus
straight to
Utah.
the NIL portal, got some top guys.
Yeah, they did.
And they were already like on the hinge of being dangerous last season, pulling it up like close games with some good teams. They're definitely a team to look out for this year. They're going to be good.
Yeah.
I agree. Okay, before we completely close out, there's something that I think we all know we have to talk about. Kawhi Leonard. Now listen, I don't know a whole lot about what's going on.
Confusing case.
It sounds like you might.
Got
You might
$28 million from a
Aspiration
tree planting company. It's weird. I mean, you can't do that. The Clippers know that you can't do that. I'm just interested to see if the allegations are true. I mean, Steve Ballmer has a big position in the company, I know. So I'm still waiting to see. I wonder what the punishment would be.
They said it was like taking away like first round picks and like suspensions.
Yeah,
and
I
all
wonder
that too.
I wonder if you get Steve Ballmer in trouble because he's the owner and he's the one that did it. I don't know how much you're gonna get Kawhi Leonard in trouble. I mean, it's $28 million for a sponsorship. I don't know if you can really fault a player for that.
Exactly.
But I think that if it is true, it's gonna be tough times for the Clippers organization.
This is like their second scandal in like recent years, and they already got in trouble.
Yeah.
Donald Sterling
Yeah.
didn't have
Exactly.
for a year.
Yeah.
But the NBA hired the exact same law firm that they used with that investigation.
Oh.
Exactly.
And they were able to find out a lot, so
Yeah, so,
we'll
yeah.
probably
They're denying
see
it now,
very
but-
soon
Yeah, we
where
will
that
see.
ends up going.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's all we have this week. Make sure to follow us on our socials at TCU360. I'm Ainsley Brangers, joined by Dany McCree and Drew Muller. We'll see you right back here next week.